$451-075.
We got Sal from the BX. He want to hear some Ultramagnetic, Mentally Mad. T from Queens want to hear My Buddy, Tribe Called Quest. Lamont from the BX want to hear Special Ed, Think About It. And Al from Queens want to hear some UTFO.
Let's do some Buddy, De La Soul. Do that in about 7 minutes. Coming up at 7:20, your chance to check out a meet and greet with Charlie Wilson at a secret location and qualify to check him out in concert at 7:20. At 7:20, De La Soul coming up in 7 minutes right here at BLS.
Toyota, the only thing falling are the prices.
All right, Matter Hatter Productions. This is RJ Arnold, and we're here interviewing DJ Bent Roc.
What's up, fam?
How you feeling, fam?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
Okay. Well, how did you get started? What was your earliest influences of DJ?
Started DJing in the summer of 1979. I'm from the Bronx, 219th Street, between White Plains and Bronxwood Avenue. This thing started popping up. These guys started doing these DJing things. I was actually on my block. I was actually one of the last guys to pick up a turntable.
Okay.
Because I was playing baseball on the street, and all these guys would stop playing baseball, and they'd go inside and start practicing or whatever. So my partner, one of my partners, I heard him mixing outside. I heard him mixing from his window. So I'm like, what's going on? So I went upstairs, and he was mixing. Back in them days, there was a couple of records everybody used to mix. It was Daisy Lady, Seventh Wonder, Chic, Good Times, Vaughn Mason and the Crew, Bounce Rock Roll Skate, Cheryl Lynn, Got to Be Real, right. McFadden and Whitehead, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and Herman Kelly and Life, Dance Drums Beat. So they started mixing these records back and forth, and I was like, wow, this is very interesting. So I sort of caught the bug and started DJing at that particular time. It was the following summer that my parents got me my first turntables and mixer, and that's when I started DJing as a DJ on the street. One of my influences, I'll say to this day, Furious 5, Super Rapping, was one of my first records that I, besides Rappers Delight, that was the other record that I memorized from front to back.
That's a classic.
Front to back, back to front, and Funky 4+1, Rhyming and Rapping the House. Like they were both on Enjoy Records.
Okay.
So those are the records that kind of got me into doing what I'm doing now. And then from there, started going to the high school dances and whatever. Okay. But it was in college that I caught the radio bug. That's where I was, you do the college radio stuff and you get your own show and you kind of progress through college. And then in college is where I got an internship at a station in Pennsylvania. And that's how I caught the radio bug. But I've always wanted to be on the radio as a DJ. Once I started DJing, practicing in my room, I didn't really want to do the clubs. That's okay. That's all. I always wanted to be on the radio, particularly in New York City. And as we all know, it was BLS, but when 98.7 KISS debuted in the summer of '81, that was the station I really wanted to DJ on.
Okay.
And, as we fast forward, I ultimately got a chance to do that.
Okay, good, because you've been in this hip-hop game and in this DJ game for a long time. Like, I noticed you've gotten the radio, especially in New York, from 98 on, and you was a music director and a on-air personality in mix show at 100.3.
Yeah, what happened was
in Philadelphia. So how did you go from there to winning that award?
Well, first of all, you got to back up a little bit further. When I got out of college in '86, I joined a little AM station with Lenny Green, who's on BLS now. Wow. Okay. We joined a station in New Haven. That's where I earned my chops in radio. That's where besides being on air, I became a production director. I was even a music director and a program director. So I stayed up there between 87 to 94. Then when I came back to New York, that's when I got into the syndication game. Okay. I worked with Jeff Foxx.
Okay.
And that was my introduction to Hot 97. And when Ed Lover and Dr. Dre became a syndicated show, I produced that show. Ed Lover was the guy that gave me the name Bent Roc. That's how Bent Roc's name, came about. So Then I started the All-Star Mix Party in 1999 with Fat Man Scoop.
Okay.
Because working with Ed Lover, Fat Man Scoop did Overnights at Hot, and that's how I met Scoop. And I had that show from 99 to 2004. And then in 2002, when I was working at Hot, that's where I met Miss Jones, and Miss Jones was the one that took me to Philadelphia. And
Okay, is Miss Jones still in Philadelphia? Is she still in Philadelphia?
No, she's not in Philadelphia right now, but she was the one that took me down there, and that's where I earned my tops in Philly. I was in Philly from 02 to 09. I had 100.3 The Beat and 107.9 R&B. That's why I became a music director there. They did a show on BET where they highlighted DJs across the country, and I was one of the DJs on BET where when I was there, I was here. I used to go back and forth from New York to Philly, drive up every day and back and forth. So I did the Philly thing. I was on Kiss twice, Kiss 3 times, Hot once, Kiss 3 times, and this is my second run on BLS. So
okay, great. So you've been around the block more than a few times, paid a lot of dues, and
yes,
a lot of people looked out for you. Which
I would say that
looked out for you as far as you was able to do some shows, radio, and you would still be able to do and live your dream, and as well as you having a vision of the dream. But tell us exactly when you won the Billboard syndicated show for the hip hop and R&B, the All Star Mix. Was it only for DJs in Philly, or was this in the tri-state area?
Actually, it was nationwide. It wasn't. I had the All-Star Mix Party. At the time, I believe I had about 20 stations, ranging from Dayton, Ohio, to Columbus, to Atlanta, to Florence, South Carolina, and I was one of the few DJs that had a syndicated mix show. So and then I had a syndicated weekend show, and I was also doing a night show in Dayton and Columbus. Like I was like the Funk Master Flex of the Midwest. So I was doing that from New York. So that's when I won that award. Actually, a little bit before its time. So yeah, I was one of the few DJs that was really touching everybody. All those little different markets, and was able to make it work.
Okay, great. Fast forward, and you're obviously doing your thing here at BLS, and you're in the clubs, and you're well known, and you're actually doing after work from several times a week at 6 o'clock at the Quake House.
Yeah.
Quake House show. What would you say what would you differentiate or distinguish a classic record in these days and time? And the listeners that call in and do the requests, what would you say from the last 20 to 30 years, is the music industry going more towards classic music? What is your take on the whole
the take of it is really classic music is now ranged from, let's just say, I kind of range from about maybe 77 all the way to 2007. Because you got to remember, music kind of turns over every 4 to 5 years. But in answer to your question, the reason why a lot of people are gravitating to the urban AC format, which is what BLS is, or the classic hip-hop format, probably is a reflection on today's music. A lot of the music can be deemed as disposable. It turns over. So people are kind of searching for other different music. And that's where I come in, where the beautiful thing about my lane of music, as I would put it, you can branch off into hip-hop, R&B, reggae, house, even a little calypso music. We have a wide variety of music to pan from, so it's good for our format as long as we keep it fresh. But as I just did a show on Classic Flavors, old school, 2003, 50 Cent is old school. Some of his records deemed as old school. I didn't think I'd be saying that, but so old school has a wide variety of stuff. So and you have to match someone 55 and someone who's 25.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tell us about the experience you had in 2009. June 30th, 2009. Actually was around the time that Michael Jackson had passed. He actually had passed a few days before.
June 25th.
Right, exactly. And during that time, Apollo Theater actually called you to play. What was that experience like, and how did that actually change the game for you and contribute
Well, it was
to
a
more of your
watershed moment. It was a
success?
watershed moment because the day he died, I was actually on BLS. I was getting ready to play the after work mix, and 15 minutes before I was getting ready to play, they said, my program director Skip Diller said, I'm going to confirm this in about 2 minutes, but I believe Michael Jackson has just passed. And it was funny because they didn't have a lot of catalog. Like they had catalog, but I had a lot, so I had to actually do a tribute to Michael Jackson that day. Upon doing that tribute, that's when we got the call from the Apollo to do the tribute to Michael Jackson at the Apollo. So they had 3 stations do a tribute. They had BLS, they had Kiss, and they had Hot 97 doing it. We were actually the first. At the time, I had just kicked off Classic Flavors with Chubb Rock. That was our launch. We had just done one show, and then the next week we're doing this thing at the Apollo. I'll never forget that day. It was about 90 degrees outside. We walked into the thing. It was sunny. When the whole thing was done, it was pouring rain. That's the kind of watershed thing. So anyway, we're doing this thing, and we're on stage, and we're playing Michael Jackson music. Because the way the thing went that day was they were bussing people in and out every 25 to 30 minutes. So people would come in, you play your montage, whatever, do a thing, and they bust them because there was so many people that wanted to come into the Apollo. So it was really good. So I did the one thing, and then the second round I'm DJing, and all of a sudden I see these 2 figures on stage, Spike Lee and Reverend Al Sharpton, and it was on CNN. So that was huge, and then to have the people just. It wasn't really a mourning, it was really a festive moment in the remembrance of him. And to see, 2,000 people come in, and the next 2,000 people come in, and they're singing along to everything. So it was definitely a watershed moment for me. Definitely.
Yeah, that's a great moment, especially with those 2 icons showing up on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What charity do you play for? Do you have your own charity where you actually play throughout the city or beyond, or are you looking to develop a charity? And to also add another question, how do you see your brand, DJ Bent Roc, expanding in the next 2 to 10 years?
Well, the first question, the one charity that I have done a little bit of stuff, and I'm going to probably do some more, is building awareness to prostate cancer for men, particularly African American men. I haven't done a whole lot lately, but I'm waiting for the guy who approached me, who is actually a prostate cancer survivor, to do a couple more things with in Brooklyn. In order, the question of enhancing my brand, along with my manager Wayne Maxwell Entertainment, I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to branch the Classic Flavor brand. I'm also in a bunch of cities now, over 16 cities. And I haven't reached my peak yet. The way I look at it is, yes, I know I'm on New York radio, but I have not reached my peak. And also, the brand itself, the Classic Flavor brand, the old school brand, however you want to put it, the Urban AC brand, the Grown Folk brand, it hasn't really peaked. So the way I see myself 2 to 10 years is to branch out into television a little, to be more visual, and to branch out the Bent Roc brand nationally, worldwide, on air, online. That is my focus in the next maybe 3 to 7 years. Beyond 7 years, I don't know yet. I do have a second love for sports. I might go back into that because I did some sports. I did some on-air work on sports here in New York, so I might do a little bit of that too.
Okay, would that be basketball, baseball?
Just sports broadcasting. But my first love is baseball and basketball. Those are my first love. So I might dibble into that. I'll have to check it out with my management, and then we'll see how we're going to move forward with that.
Okay, that sounds good. And you have a lot of short-term and long-term goals.
A lot of goals, yeah.
Yeah. One more question. What is your favorite genre of music that you like to play? Whether it's on BLS or in the clubs.
Actually, it would have to be R&B music from 77 to 86. And not just quote-unquote black R&B stuff, even the blue-eyed soul, like in my iPod, Hall & Oates, Human League, early Madonna. I'm talking everybody Madonna, Physical Attraction Madonna.
Borderline.
Yeah, well, not even that. No. When she was at the Fun House,
Holiday,
and Jelly Bean Benitez was walking around. Yeah, I'm like, favorite Madonna songs are Everybody, 1982, and Physical Attraction. So I like Lucky Star a little bit, that type of sound, but because back in the 80s, black radio played everything. They played Hall & Oates, Out of Touch. We won't play that now.
Yeah.
So, but that's how I kind of do that stuff. So, but that's my genre, even though I have a heavy dose of hip-hop, my roots. Because see, a hip-hop DJ, his roots are R&B because we take these two songs and we mix them together. They're two old school R&B songs. So it always goes back to R&B. So I'd have to say R&B.
So when you ask for a song, even like what's playing now, think about what plays now.
But people don't think about that when they go into a spot.
If it's house music now, it's not Black Rob Woe now. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to get to it.
People just want to hear their song, but
Yeah,
they want to hear it.
I got you. But if you were playing like me, are you gonna play that song and risk losing more than half that dance floor? No. And then what happens when I play that song, right? Everybody skedaddles, including the person that asked for the record.
Dancing on the, dancing on the, dancing on the dance. Dancing on the, dancing on the, dancing on the dance. Dancing on the dance floor. Girl, it's I adore. Step off stage, just scream for more. Native tongue got rhymes galore. Snap my fingers, make you mine. If not, I'll snap a second time. After that, I guarantee you will be standing next to me.
Flop.
Listen to this jockey's introduction to Ronnie's Crazy This is Classic Flavors.
What? What?
We like to thank DJ Bent Roc for
you,
spending
my
this time. It's a pleasure,
Yes.
brethren. Now, before we wrap it up, who is your favorite all-time MC or group, as well as R&B and dance music artists and reggae artists of all time?
Famous rapper, Grandmaster Melly Mel. Famous group, my personal favorite group is Slave, featuring Steve Anderson.
Okay.
And you said dancehall?
Yeah, dancehall.
Shabba.
Shabba Ranks.
And I am of Jamaican descent, so
Okay.
yes. So that's kind of all over the place, right?
Okay, a lot of Caribbean flavor. I got Trinidadian and Asian in my blood. As well as
Northeast Bronx,
neighbor.
that's what it's all about, man. White Plains Road. Hey, what's what
Yeah,
it is?
it's
Yeah.
Bronx, New York in the house.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a pleasure.
Yes,
Brethren,
sir.
keep on keeping all the best to you. God bless you and yours.
Don't forget DJ Bent Roc HH on Twitter, DJ Bent Roc on Instagram, Bent Roc, no K on Rock on Facebook. Shout out to Maxwell Entertainment for bookings, maxwellentertainment.net. And look out for the Bent Roc website coming very soon.
Bounce.